Good afternoon. I'm here with Jean Bailey and Christina Hicks at the U.S. Veterans Magazine, and I want them to know that we appreciate and we are so excited to feature MANTECH as a top veteran employer. And I know you guys have been doing this a long time, and you really do walk the walk. And I want to just congratulate you again for being a top veteran employer. And thank you for taking the time today to speak with me.
Thank you for having us, Mona.
So I'm going to go ahead and just open it up to have one of you answer this question. Could you share who you are, a little bit about who you are, and a bit about your professional background?
Christina, you know I'm going to do ladies first, so.
Very gentlemanly. So I'm a retired Navy captain. I served 25 years in the Navy. First as a submarine warfare officer nuclear, and then as an information warfare officer. So I had the opportunity to lead and to specialize across multiple technical fields, from nuclear engineering to space systems to global scale network operations and cybersecurity. So, and my last tour in the Navy, I was the very first female chief of staff for Fleet Cyber Command, 10th Fleet Navy Space Command. So it was a great career.
Outstanding. Wow. Welcome. Thank you so much. And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And I'm Jean Bailey. I'm the Navy Segment Technical Director for MANTECH currently. I've been retired from active duty a little over 3 years. I had one other position prior to coming to MANTECH, and I spent 29 years, 4 months, and 5 days in uniform and retired as CIO of the SEALs. I've done multiple overseas tours. I drove ships for half of my career, and then I helped build networks and communication systems all around the globe for the last half of my career. So it's been an interesting journey along the way. And I think you'll find that Christina and I have known each other for quite some time. So this should be a pretty dynamic interview.
Absolutely. I was going to say it's a dynamic duo. Thank you also for your service as well. But I can definitely tell you're a dynamic duo. So tell me a little bit what drew you to MANTECH.
Well, speaking of dynamic duos, first and foremost, it was the people. I struggled a bit after retirement with what direction I wanted to go in my next career. And it was Gene, actually, who I'd known for many years, as he said, who let me know that MANTECH had an open position. He thought I would be a great fit for. And I saw that as an opportunity to serve alongside my Navy colleagues, folks that I already trusted and had a great respect and rapport with. And that's what initially drew me to the company. Now, once I started to learn a little more, I realized that it was also a great fit from a mission perspective. And I knew that in MANTECH, I would have that opportunity to be back in the fight and make an impact in delivering technical solutions and capabilities that I knew our warfighters needed, because we had just been in their seats. And then I would say, lastly, what I really loved about MANTECH was how vet focused they were. MANTECH is I didn't realize what a large company it was. We have over 8,000 employees worldwide. And given the size, it was shocking to me, we have almost 40% of those folks are veterans, which is huge. So really supporting the veteran community, making sure that we're able to be in the fight, as I said. And I feel a lot of pride, because folks will come to me and be like, I see the incredible team that you have at MANTECH. And I want to be a part of that, which makes me feel really good. And I get a lot of satisfaction as well out of having that camaraderie with the folks that I'm used to serving with in uniform. And now we're out of uniform, but we still are like side by side with that shared vision of what's really important. And it makes just working with this company every day just such a joy.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, I think for me, I had, like I said, I had one previous position, and the culture of a company is very important when you start looking at what you want to do and what inspires you. And from a perspective for MANTECH, what drew me to the company was I had the ability to, like Christina, to continue to serve and help our warfighters in day-to-day missions. The things that we're doing from a technical perspective are ahead of the power curve and ahead of the adversary. The other piece of it, besides the culture, like Christina hit on, is the team. And the team is filled with a number of smart people across the entire spectrum. We were able to not only capitalize on the veteran camaraderie that we have within the company, but I mean, there is just a plethora of talent across the board that you get to have very significant, very meaningful, very challenging conversations with that really help you evolve and get smarter. And so from that aspect, I found that very appealing, because when you have a culture like that, you don't necessarily challenge each other in competition, you challenge each other to grow. And so that was very, I would say, very not only appealing, but very comforting. As I made that transition. And this is like I said, my second position out of uniform. And, I hadn't felt that previously to MANTECH, but from day one, when I walked in the door and we did the first, introductions to the company, all the way 2 years later, I'm a little over 2+ years in the seat now. It has been an amazing journey.
That's excellent. And I could tell the culture is very important. And it not only is inviting, but it helps with retention and you're building up those teams. So that's outstanding. So tell me a little bit about what your job entails. I know that you both hold quite a bit of responsibility, but if you could tell me what your job entails, and that'd be great.
Absolutely. So I am currently the executive director for Navy Information Warfare Strategy, which sounds big, but it really means I get to engage directly with Navy leadership, folks that I served alongside with not 2 years ago, to include great folks at Fleet Cyber Command, our TICOM Naval Information Forces Command, our Systems Command, and the operators, the information warfare commanders out there, leading at the edge. And I get to talk to them about what are their significant information warfare challenges, and then bring that back to the company and say, how are we aligning our strategic efforts and key initiatives to provide the right IW expertise and those capability solutions that the Navy and our warfighters need out there to be successful. I'm also responsible to track and develop new initiatives for supporting future requirements that we see our Navy IW force is going to need, and participating in the technical solutioning, which Gene's our technical director, so I work hand in glove with him and his team, which is such a joy because they're absolutely brilliant. But so we look at what we can do to deliver IW in the IW and EW mission spaces even into the future. And so not only do I work with the technical team, but I get to work with our growth teams, our delivery teams, and really fun. I get to represent MANTECH at conferences and engagements.
Oh, that's great.
Government and industry leaders, which I love because I just love being around people, and especially being around the folks that, as we've talked about numerous times, that you've served with over the years, and get to continue and grow those relationships.
Wow.
Well, and for me, like Christina said, I'm the Navy segment technical director. And so what that really means is that I have the purview over all technologies across over 300+ contracts, over 1,800 people worldwide, and about a $700 million revenue line. So it keeps me busy day to day. We have the unique position of being able to really take care of the Navy in a way that in the past, most people have not known very much about MANTECH, because MANTECH was one of the best kept secrets, so to speak, or the best kept secret keeper of secrets. We had done a lot of things in spaces, right, that were classified. And so many people didn't understand the magnitude and the capability sets that MANTECH brought forward. As we continue to grow, we're a little over a $3 billion company on our way, increasing every year, and we're on our way and on track to meet all of our goals in the next couple years and move from a private equity company back into a public corporation again. Wow. So that journey is also very, very interesting. For the Navy segment, we're roughly 20% of the revenue of the entire company. And so when you think about that across the board, it really gives you an opportunity to try new technical things, whether they're small items that could, revolutionize an engineering process, or they're large things like how to get our arms around big data and cybersecurity. So we span the entire spectrum of every technical capability. And I sit kind of at the top of the segment as part of the strategic three. The senior vice president who runs the business piece of it. We have a senior business development who runs our growth, and I'm the technical lead for that.
Excellent. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for all that you do. What advice would you give to members of the military seeking to transition to civilian work?
First and foremost, I would say put yourself out there. You have to take opportunities to speak, to present, to network at those government and industry events. You have to expand your network of folks that you know, and let them know that you are transitioning and you're looking for that next opportunity, that next career. You never know who knows about a position or thinks that you'd be a great fit, as what happened with Gene. And he knew I was looking, and he knew my background and what to expect from me. And interestingly, so the hiring manager, the senior VP who brought me into the company, turns out he had seen me the year prior when I was in uniform presenting on a panel about cybersecurity. And that presentation and what he saw of me in that role left an impact on him. And so when I had the interview with him, when he saw my resume and knew I was interested in the position, he remembered me, and it was such a great conversation. So don't underestimate the power of getting out there and letting folks see you, because it truly is that your reputation and the relationships that you have will make all the difference when you're trying to get to that next position. And also remember that every one of those engagements, any conversation you may have, is probably an interview. I think folks, we're not used to that when we're in uniform.
Yeah, they need to be prepared. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Every impression it could be very important. You never know which one it is.
I think that's very good advice.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna springboard right off of Christina's, because that's super important. But I tell people all the time, don't be afraid. You don't know what you don't know, and so when you're transitioning out of the military, there's a period where you are afraid because you don't know what the future holds. For making that transition, for many of us, or nearly all of us, you will have a job. We have significant soft skills that many people don't talk about. Our leadership skills are more advanced than you'll find in the average civilian sector, because we've had enough time to hone those and build those over the courses of our previous career. So I would tell people, don't be afraid. Your technical capabilities are also one of the things that, like Christina said, put yourself out there, talk to people, network, and you never know when an opportunity is going to arise. So, the more you do that, the better your opportunities tend to be. But I would tell you, don't be afraid of making the transition. There are thousands and thousands of us who have made the transition, and reach out to people that you trust. Yes. Because in the end, they're going to give you the best advice, and they're going to give you the real scoop on what it is to leave your uniform behind and move on to a future that sometimes is better than you could have ever imagined.
Excellent, excellent advice. Well, we are actually done, but I just had a quick last question, and is that, do you live by any motto? Is there any kind of saying that you say all the time that you use for yourself or your team?
Jean, yeah.
So I have a few, but
Okay. I
for
love
me,
these. These are my favorite.
yeah. So for me, my biggest one comes out of, and I use this as my command philosophy when I was in uniform, and I still use it today because it's more about the way I live than anything else. Um, I think that life is a series of choices, right? You just have to be willing to accept the consequences. So you have to choose wisely. You have to remember that everything is a people game. No matter how many toys you have, no matter what kind of things you can provide, if you don't have the right talent and you don't have the right people, then you really have nothing. So if you can capitalize on those two things, make the right choices, move the right directions, invest in your time, energy, which is limited, in the right kind of ideas and the right kind of people, then you can build anything. You can make anything, and life can be whatever you want it to be.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Christina, you want
Absolutely.
to add anything to that?
I would. So one thing that is very important to me and I'm passionate about is that idea that leadership is actually service to others. And I think those of us, when we're in uniform, we get that, right? Every day we're coming into work and we're serving others and making sure that they have everything they need and feel seen and valued and understand why we're there. And I just want transitioning veterans to realize that that doesn't end just because you take the uniform off. You're still a leader. You still be in service to others, as Jean talked about earlier. Just even helping out folks who are coming up behind you, who are transitioning out. Reaching out, still coaching and mentoring those who are coming up the ranks, and then just in service to each other as we're in this new season of life. So, that's what I
Oh,
say.
I love it. Excellent. Well, thank you for your time. I want to thank you both for all the work that you're doing to support our veteran community and all that you've done already. And I know what you're going to do, and you really should be commended, and I can see why you've been really recognized as a top veteran employer. And I look forward to seeing you guys grow and grow. So keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much for the opportunity as well.
Absolutely. My pleasure.